Stone here. Today's video is going to be about free energy. This includes zero point, radiant, and other renewable energy sources. Now, before your doubts and short attention spans get the best of you, think about the impact a clean and non-metered energy source could do for our economy, environment, and society. Scientists have discovered many untapped energy sources. For example, radiant energy, most popularly utilized by the Bedini brothers, Eugene Malov, which is said to discover cold fusion, Stanley Myers and his inventions regarding a hydrogen-fueled motor, and most popular of free energy sources would be Nikola Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower, which appears to use some of the same electrical conducting attributes as the pyramids. So let's dive into some of these energy sources, starting with Nikola Tesla. He was a famous inventor in the late 1800s to early 1900s. He had over 1,000 patents, as well as discovered AC, or alternating current, which is still used over DC today. One of Tesla's greatest inventions was the Wardenclyffe Tower, which tapped into Earth's electromagnetic energy fields as well as the ionosphere, and was able to broadcast energy. He stated that electrical currents can be sent similar to radio waves. He was the first to envision cell phones. Yet it took almost 100 years for his theories to be accepted and actually utilized. People thought those new wireless phone chargers were so high-tech when they first came out. You can thank Nikola Tesla for that knowledge. See patent 787412. But there is one very interesting source Tesla attributes some of his knowledge to, which would be the Great Pyramids. The Great Pyramids of Giza, as well as many other pyramids and obelisks around the world, hold answers to free energy. It's been scientifically observed and proven that the pyramids are outputting an electrical current out of their peaks. Yet the many mechanisms and designs that could generate electricity aren't accepted. In addition to the similarities with the Wardenclyffe Tower, using Earth's electromagnetic energy and the ionosphere to generate and conduct energy, but the stone material alone is known for being a conductor because it contains lots of quartz and metals inside. Those materials, in addition to water coming from the Nile, crushing and flowing inside of the subterranean chambers, would be a surefire way to create what's known as piezoelectricity, which again isn't used until much later after its original discovery. We use piezoelectricity in many watches, and the quartz can also be found in radios. Another theory aiding to the possibility of pyramids being a power plant would be the soot and sediments they found in the pyramids. Because interestingly enough, the soot wasn't from torches, but rather from chemical reactions as well as heavy deposits of salt, which could have been made from hydrogen. I recommend further research into both Nikola Tesla and the pyramids. You can start to see there's a lot of validity in that they might be the key to free energy. Moving on to more energy sources, we have Stanley Myers and his hydrogen fuel motors, which is said to be capable of running on water and even salt water, which would be very crucial to not affect our environmental concerns we have today. Here is a news clip regarding his inventions.
The top, our news here at 6 o'clock, an age-old dream becoming a reality. A local inventor has discovered a way, hear this, to use water to run your car.
It's a major breakthrough that will no doubt make motorists happy. And as Ralph Robinson explains, the Pentagon is also showing lots of interest in this project.
Water has always been considered a precious commodity, but Stan Myers' invention may make it even more valuable. He has developed what's called a water fuel cell. It has taken the place of his old gas tank. The water fuel cell breaks down water molecules into oxygen and hydrogen. The hydrogen is used to run his dune buggy.
I don't care if you use rainwater, well water, city water, ocean water. If you don't have any fresh water, go ahead and use snow. If you don't have any snow available to you, they use salt water because there's no adverse effect to the fuel cell.
Myers started working on this project 4 years ago. He's not a scientist. He isn't even a chemist. In fact, he never graduated from college. Myers was determined, he says, to design something to protect this country from oil embargoes.
And we have calculated that if we take the dune buggy from Los Angeles to New York, we would roughly use 22 gallons of water.
The Pentagon flew a lieutenant colonel in last week to look at Myers' invention. There's talk of possibly using it in the Star Wars defense program and to run Army tanks. Myers is currently perfecting a water fuel cell for cars. It will cost about $1,500. He says it won't need any maintenance, and you won't have to replace it. It'll be at least 2 years before the fuel system goes into mass production. The day it happens will be one the fuel industry hates, but it'll put a smile on the face of those who've had to say at one time or another, fill her up.
Stanley Myers' hydrogen car wasn't the only car not needing fuel. In fact, Ford had came out with a hemp car during the beginning stages of the automotive industry. Similar to inventions regarding hydrogen, you have Eugene Malov, who led the way in cold fusion, where he found you can create energy from hydrogen isotopes without the need of burning fuel and at very low energy. You can look further into his research in the book Cold Fusion: Fire from Water. Here's a brief excerpt from one of his many interviews.
So what we're saying is that the initial test would be in essentially low temperature situations where the efficiency is the only thing you really care about.
You don't care too much about efficiency for home heating purposes. But if you want to get into electric power generation, efficiency and the ability to generate electricity with high temperature differentials is important. I think electricity will be generated in homes, in small compact units. And it may be the case that the whole electric utility grid will eventually disappear. This is a possibility.
That's very fascinating, the whole concept that the city as we now visualize it becoming a village because of everything being self-sustained.
Indeed.
Your own power.
Exactly. Homes will be much more self-sufficient, as they almost in effect are already, but energy is the last holdup. We still have these electric power lines coming into our homes, and it would be great, wouldn't it, if we could sever that link.
I'm still remembering the great New York City blackout.
Yes.
Never again could you have one of those.
But you know, with all the silliness that we have about this subject and the mirth that's been made about it, it's so incredible to think that in our lifetime, of all the other wonders we've seen, that we now see what almost appears to be the ultimate miracle, energy from water.
Well, that brings me to the whole question of, whose ox is being gored by all of this? Why the great resistance of the physics, and academia of the physicists? Mm-hmm. And why is it such a political hot potato?
Well, it's a political hot potato for several reasons. First of all, it was in direct conflict with hot fusion. The hot fusion people thought they knew all the answers to how nuclear reactions could occur with hydrogen isotopes. And it turned out that they didn't. And it threatens their $500 million a year program.
Although there have been many discoveries regarding free energy, the last scientists I'll be covering in today's video will be the Bedini brothers and their schoolgirl motor that put out more energy than put in using electromagnetism and radiant energy. By attaching several magnets onto a spinning wheel with an electromagnetic coil near, you can get as much energy as you put into the system. In addition to that, they discovered upon every revolution when the magnet on the wheel and coils make an electromagnetic current, excess energy was drawn from the 0-point energy, allowing you to output more energy than you inputted. This invention has been widely tested, rebuilt, and proven. You can do simple, cheap working models with little electrical knowledge, mostly used to charge batteries without draining other batteries or burning fuel. There are many forms of free or renewable energies, so that leaves you with the burning question of why aren't these utilized if they all work? It becomes evident the further you dig, the more you can see all these inventions were suppressed. Do you know what all these scientists have in common? They were all murdered with suspicious timing. Seriously, look it up. You have to understand that gas, oil, and electricity is extremely interwoven in our government and big corporations' financial structures. The petrodollar has its hand in every house, car, and machine, as well as the money is the control that they'd lose if we didn't need the utilities to survive with our modern day needs. Regardless of your current opinions on the matter, I'd recommend doing further research into all these topics and inventions. Knowledge is the only way we can change our economy, environment, and society. The government will not make these changes. We, the people, have to unite and push for disclosure. We cannot do that while distracted, disinformed, and pitted against each other. Politics, social media, and economic stresses keep us fighting strangers, friends, and even significant others. Before trying to hate the left or the right side, step back and see the whole eagle is dying.